All right, everybody, Dave, your roaster here at the Grab a Job. I'm just going to do a demo V60. I've done a few of those before. Lots of baristas can do demos. A little different here is that we're a roaster, so get to give you a little more explanation. So I'll start with coffee. When you're looking for coffee, always buy whole bean and fresh roasted. If the roaster can be so bold as to put the date of the roast right on the bag, that's a good idea. If they're also as bold to have a window, you can see the coffee beans. What you're looking for is to avoid what you see here, which is actually stale old coffee. It's 5 weeks old. You can see the droplets of oil on it. The oil migrates to the surface. The oil is what we're after when we brew coffee. That's what the wonderful flavors we get out of coffee are. Unfortunately, when that oil makes it to the surface of the bean 5-6 weeks later and starts to get really oily, like you see in the grocery store sometimes on coffees, or some coffees you might buy at some big chains that are old, you just don't realize they're old. When the roaster says it's good for a year, it's simply not the case. Cinnamon buns are fresh out of the oven, amazing. They're not good a week later. Coffee's not good a month later. So look for the oil. You can see the sheen. You can see the droplets of oil. Those oils are the flavors we're looking for when we brew coffee. They're here in our coffee when we make it. The problem is when they make it to the surface of the bean, they're rancid or they've gone bad. They're starting to decompose. So to do a V60 pour over, we have a ceramic V60, a Harrier filter. We've heated everything up. In this case, we have a really nice digital scale for this purpose. It's really not that important. You can use an inexpensive scale. This one has a timer. It has the grams. We're really just looking for the grams. Here's an inexpensive scale. So this here is a coffee that was roasted today, February 21st. And you can see the beans are really dry. That's what you're looking for. Here's an example of that coffee, the Sumatra. And it is a dark, but we really don't roast that dark, to be honest with you. But you can see all the beans are whole, they're complete. It's like a peanut, it's a seed. If some of it's missing, it's like this. And as you can see with this, the seed has been eaten. That's insect damage. There's also fermentation and this other damages. And over on the side here, we have shells, which are coffee beans that don't really have anything in them. So it's good for a roaster to make more profit by buying lower grade coffees with defects, roasting them really dark to hide those defects, and selling you a coffee with lots of chunks and pieces and stuff in it. Because it's a lot lower grade, it's less expensive. So that's a little lesson on the coffee. This is what the Harrier V60 looks like. And this here is the type of kettle with a gooseneck you can use. It's fine to boil your water in a pot, put it in the gooseneck. In our case, we use a kettle that works on the scale on the heater element and heats it up. So here we are. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to put a little bit of water, I don't know, maybe 20 grams of water. And it's going to sit in the coffee for a few seconds. You can see the coffee's blooming or erupting. It's because it was roasted today. This is our espresso blend. It's roasted today. It's pretty forgiving, but it's only been about 4 hours. So it's super gassy. It's really fresh. It's best after about 8 hours, maybe 24 hours, and best consumed within 30 days. So coffee too fresh is not so good. Lacks flavor. Less than 24 hours from roasting. And you get all these bubbles and it's super gassy. But if your coffee doesn't bubble and crust like that and have gas, your coffee is very much like this 5-week-old Papua New Guinea. It's old. If we were to do this demo next, this coffee would not have any kind of eruption or bloom or crust or anything on top. It would just be lackluster. This crust or bloom is the result of the gases that are being released out of the coffee. Now remember, the flavors and the oils and the gases are things that we need to make a good cup of coffee. So coffee has over 400 different flavor characteristics, more complex than any food we have. And as a result, coffee has not been artificially developed yet. You can buy fake butter and you can buy a lot of fake things, but you can't buy fake coffee yet. Or artificial, shall we say. So again, look for a window on your coffee bags. This is the Harrier V60 filter. Always nice to use the Harrier products. The Japanese really seem to have this specialty coffee products down. They get very into it. So this is a 2-cupper. I'm starting with 33 grams. It is our house espresso. Again, a medium roast. Most roasters doing high quality coffees would roast them medium. We do call this a Sumatra dark, and it's because Sumatra is a funny coffee. It's a tropical area and the coffee doesn't grow well there. Keep in mind, coffee trees come from Ethiopia and Yemen in a dry climate with not a lot of rain. That is not Costa Rica in a rainforest, or Guatemala in a rainforest, or Sumatra in a rainforest. So the tree really struggles there. Anybody that grows tomatoes knows what happens when a plant that doesn't like water gets lots of water. So you get funguses and different diseases. In coffee we call it rust and broca. But there's other diseases that come in the coffee that wouldn't occur if it was kept in Ethiopia. So there you go. I've added water as we went. I haven't let it get too low, and I haven't filled it too high. I've also got the coffee wet initially. And that's pretty much my brew there. The whole thing took, I don't know, 2.5, 3 minutes. You can set up different profiles. The key with your coffee is grind it fresh before you brew it. If this coffee that I roasted today was ground and I waited, say, 5 hours and brewed it, it would be as stale as this coffee that's 5 weeks old. So grinding the coffee accelerates the staling. Again, the best thing you can do is brew your coffee freshly ground and freshly roasted within 30 days. If you do need to store your coffee, store it in a cool, dry place away from other odors, and keeping in mind that coffee is a better odor absorbent than baking soda. If you put it beside the garlic salt, it will taste like garlic. That is your V60 demo. Take care.